2022 is here with us, and this is the first sit down by myself with all of you incredible devs. Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing on and making the games that you all love. You're joining me, your host, senior level designer Max Pears. Absolute pleasure to have you here, whether this is your first time listening or you're rejoining us in the new year. Absolute pleasure to be here again with all of you. For those of you who don't know, this here is a podcast all about level design and game design, where I tend to talk through the business side of things as well as that of creating levels. How do we come up? How do we design? Reviewing games and interviewing incredible developers all the way through the year. And this is a great time to be joining and a great time to be here talking with you all. If this is your first time, please do subscribe, whether that be across on YouTube or on any through device that you're listening. And if you are listening through a podcast, then please do give us a generous review, no matter where it is. 5 stars would be appreciated. So thank you very much. But first, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is none other than me. What I've done, everyone, and I hope you're excited for this, is I've actually created a level design kind of store. What I've done in this store is put up different kinds of tips and tricks that you can find there, whether that be my actual ebook itself, to that of level design pamphlets focused on different things such as traversal, stealth, breaking into the industry, as well as different talks that I have done which you cannot find anywhere else other than on this store. So if you are looking to improve on your level design skills and processes, then check out the Level Design Store, which will be down in the description below, where there'll be a link to find this. All you need to do is head over to gumroad.com/level design lobby. I hope you like what you see, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you, and now back to the show. Now this one's going to be a bit of a different one. I want to talk about. As I said, we primarily focus that on the actual techniques going behind level design. But one of the things that I think is something that I'm seeing a lot more, or should I say being asked a lot more, is the actual final interview side as well as the money side. Now, money is obviously a element that can be a very touchy subject for people, and rightly so. I understand why you don't want it to be publicly shared across the world. So I won't tell you what I make, that's for sure. But I will be talking about things just to think about and making sure that you're doing your own research, as well as to understand how much money you should ask for. That letting you know asking for more money is not a bad thing, and you shouldn't feel ashamed or rude to ask. Negotiations are important. As we say, we love what we do. However, we are still paid to do it as a job. That does mean that we need to survive. We need to make money in order to live and in order to either provide for our families or ourselves. So these are the elements that we're going to be talking through, as well as I said, the interview process. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, the first one we'll talk about is the interview process. What will tend to happen when you're applying is our industry just, I don't know, like this is just a personal thing for me. And people may disagree and that, but I feel like our interview processes have only gotten more bloated as of recent throughout the years here. And it is a shame. It's funny, I'll talk about why it feels bloated, but the process tends to be you'll first apply, whether that be submitting in a cover letter and your CV and portfolio. This will then be quickly, I don't want to use the word quickly, but it will be reviewed by the recruiters and the team, which will then be passed on to the leads as well as possible other developers. They will give the thumbs up or thumbs down on who they want to proceed. Once that's proceeded, you'll tend to have a interview firstly with the recruiter. This one tends to be a very quick one, around about 30 minutes to an hour. Now, again, I'm just talking about experiences that I have had, but others, friends of mine, students of mine who've had as well, right? So there will be some variations depending, but these are the ones that I've tend to see in common. Once this has kind of been approved by the recruiter, then you'll move on to the next stage. Now, the next stage can take two forms. It can either be a quick interview. Again, I use quick too frequently here, but an interview, you'll speak to the lead and then be given the test, or it'll just be straight to the test and then you sit down with the lead afterwards. Either way, it comes around this. Now, I can't necessarily say what the test will be. Again, it depends on the company. But the important thing to remember is to read those tests, right? You want to make sure that you understand what is being asked for you. I myself have made this mistake more than once, for sure, where you need to make very clear and understood, sorry, I've hit the wrong button, clear and understood or understand what it is that they are asking you for. If it's a level design test, you shouldn't be necessarily modeling the most detailed art, right? You shouldn't be propping out your levels. If it's they're asking for a level, right? They want to make sure that you understand how to create the flow of levels. These are really important for you, okay? So remember that bit. After that, you want to make sure that if they ask for a documentation side of the level as well, that you're handing in a highly, sorry mate, let me record this line. That you're handing something in, or let me try again. That you're handing in documentation which is presentable, understandable, and not just, as we've spoken about many times in this podcast, that of just a Word document. You want to be giving the best impression on all aspects of level design. As we all know, level design isn't just about the blocking out phase. That is a crucial part, but it is only one part of the entire process. So when you're asked to hand in multiple parts to a test, make sure that you are giving the best in every part, not just the block out as well. So plan out in time. People have asked me before about how do you plan? Well, there's quite a lot to understand and obviously plan. You're going to get better with each and every test that you do, as well as each and every deadline that you accumulate as well. You'll plan better. But it tends to be, again, every test is different, but some range from 1 week, 3 days, a couple hours to, I've seen some last a month, which I think personally is a bit ridiculous, but you will be given a deadline. Now, if I'm given a deadline where I'm like, okay, I have to do the level and then as well as a documentation, I will plan it out. For example, documentation will be around about, if it's a week, 2 days, the level 5 days, right? Something around there. Now, it might go over for sure, but that's roughly how I would plan it. Again, it depends how fast you are. You might be faster than me in terms of blocking things out, so it might take you 3 days. And when I'm saying faster, I don't mean lower quality. I actually do mean just genuinely faster. Remember, quality is the best thing that we can deliver here. That's really important. So think about how long it takes you. Understand that about yourself. What is it that's being asked? Is it a really long block out, long level, or is it one area, right? These are the things that you need to consider as you're going through. Is it maybe split into 3 parts? Go through each part. Sometimes we see these 3-part, or I've done it where I've seen a 3-part test, and I know which one's the shortest, which one's the longest, and then we'll start maybe with the shortest or the longest, vice versa, and be like, right, I'll go through these and try to get as much done as possible. And understanding that maybe I've spent too much time before on a certain section and go, okay, well, I can't deliver all that I wanted to do now, but that's okay, and I'll move forward with what I want to do. Simple things like that. But again, the more you do, the more you'll understand from this. Now that we've got this kind of sorted, I hope that made sense. It's hard to kind of articulate about tests when everyone is so different. I'm trying to give it more broad strokes so that it can be applicable across all tests. As I say, every test is different, and that's something to keep in mind. Now, this is the part I'm asked a lot about here with the question of preparing for the interview. When you've done a test, the most likely topic of discussion or the focus will be reviewing your test. Make sure before you have that next interview, you play through your test, because it may be a while that you hear back from. Sadly, I've had instances where I've submitted in a test and I've had to wait 3 months to hear a response, which I already thought I didn't get the job, right? Because it'd been that long. But the reason I say that is because you need to make sure you go back and play it, because you never know how long it's going to be. Go through and see what could be better, what you like, and figure out why or how it can be better, or why it is that you like this part of the test. Break all of that down. The more that you have of elements like that, the more conversation you can provide, and also it makes, it makes them aware that you understand what's good and bad, that you have your own quality bar, as well as you knowing what you can constantly do. Because at the end of the day, everyone knows that if you've got a test to do in a week, it's not always going to be the best level ever. It's, you want to make sure that it's very good. But as we know, iteration is such a crucial part of level design. So to think that we're going to knock it out of the park day one, take one, is unrealistic. But we can still make sure that we understand what's better, why is it better. So just prepare as much as possible. You're not going to know what questions, one of the questions I'm asked when people are trying to prepare for interviews is, what are they going to ask me? I have no idea. I have no idea. Because again, every person is different who's conducting the interview. Every place is different. So you just have to be prepared as possible. And when I say prepared, I am referring to that of playing your own stuff, making sure you do research on the company, understand what games have they currently released, most recent one, what are they working on, is there any things such as their philosophies on their website, and make sure that you prepare questions to ask.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/level design lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
Everyone loves to talk about themselves. We're human beings. There's no shame in it. So make sure that you have questions for them. Just simple ones such as, what drew you to the company? Elements like that. What current games are you currently playing? These things. Again, these are just two vague ones. You can go into deeper and more detailed questions. But all of these can really help to, again, make an everlasting impression. Because when it comes to the final interview, obviously they're reviewing their work with you. But they're checking a couple things. How well can you handle feedback? What's your process like to adjust? I've had it where I've gotten feedback and I remember I was so nervous once. In the test that I was doing in the interview, they're like, okay, we don't think this would work because of X, Y, and Z, which is a valid feedback. I can't go into detail because of NDAs, but we then spent the next, what felt like an hour for me, but I think was about 15 minutes, figuring out how would we solve this. And we would go back and forth with me suggesting, them saying, no, I don't think this would work, or yes, this would work. And being like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Until, we'd finally figured it out. They, at one point, like, okay, we'll move on to this. I was like, no, I now know what I do. And this thing, that there made me extremely nervous just because I just didn't know how to respond in that because it caught me off guard. And the area they were asking me to change, I actually genuinely liked a lot, for different reasons for me. But when they were giving feedback, it didn't align with their philosophy or on their principles of level design, which I completely understand for that game. But again, I'm just saying is you're going to be caught off guard regardless, which is why it's important to breathe, why it's important to remember that you're not expected to know everything as well. There is no shame in saying, actually, I don't know the answer to that. That's okay. But when they're asking you about like asking how do you change things, they want to know how do you design, which is what they want to know. And that's an important thing. That's all they want to know. How would you, as a human being, or as a designer, should I say, as an alien, as a designer, fix this? How would you change it? How does your mind work? And in which that's the case, no one's going to be able to answer that but you. So embrace how you design. People design differently to one another all the time. I've worked with a lot of incredible designers who all design differently. Very rare is people's paths the same. Now, there is obviously principles that are similar and elements that we tackle, but they may come on at different stages, and that's okay. So just remember those things that they're asking you. That isn't a trick question. They want to know how you as a human being, and again, why am I saying human being? Like you could be a possible alien or a fish, but as you as a designer would tackle these questions. So those are the ones just to focus on. Now, this is a little bit quick, but it's just wanting something to just help for those of you that are probably applying, maybe thinking of switching jobs throughout this new year. Now on to kind of money here, because even if it's your first job or your latest job, if it's your latest job, you probably know a bit more how to negotiate. But if it's your first job, I've had people question, am I okay to ask for more money? Of course you are. The worst thing they can do is say no. Now, what you want to try to do is not come in and say, I want this amount of money, because that can get you kicked out. And what I mean kicked out is there might be someone willing to work for less. And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying let's race to the bottom. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying when it comes to negotiations, you can have a price in mind. You tend to always want to ask for more, just so that when it comes to negotiate, you can probably reach the price that you want. These kind of elements, right? Say, for example, if we're just going for an hourly rate, this is not representative of the industry at all. I'm just using this as a simple example. If you wanted, say, let's just say we're going to be crazy and ask for 100 quid an hour. All right, it's quite a good wage there. But really, I would take 85. 100 is a stretch, but it's a reasonable one. And then they come back and say, it's a bit too much. How about 75? You can say, well, that's a bit lower than what I wanted. I'll meet you in the middle, let's say 85. And they can agree to that. So as I said, as long as you're coming out where it's up for negotiations, you can talk about it, blah, blah, blah. It's always approachable. There's a lot of great stuff out there talking about negotiations more than what I will touch on. I'm just trying to let you know that, hey, it's okay to ask for more money. It is a job after all. And I don't mean that from a cynical point of, at the end of the day, it's a job. I come that we are getting paid to do this, that we're getting paid to make a product to become profitable. So make sure that you're having, an incentive to go there. Obviously, incentives can come in different forms and shapes, but your wage is always going to be an important one. I was trying to think. There is a great site that came. Oh, I'm trying to remember where it is now. Let's see if I can find it. But there is a site on online which have like average wages of developers in certain areas. There's a great one. Let me find it. See if I can find it here. There's a great one in the UK of recent. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we are. I will find the link to this, just so you can see it. This is in just for the UK, but this one was a gathering by a company called Skill Search, and they found, say, average wages around, as I said, the UK. Now, here for the average senior salary around the UK, Scotland is about 39.3 thousand a year before tax. Northeast is 41, Northwest is 39, East Midlands is 40, East Anglia is 51, London is 56, Southeast is 46, Southwest 44, and West Midlands 45,000. These are, again, great principles. These are great things for you to know. The average UK salary is around about 42,000 per year. In 2021, it actually went down in 2021. In 2020, it's 43. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. I'll put a link to this here. So what my point is you can get research and references that are done by third parties. It's not you just picking numbers out of your head. That allow for you to understand what are the boundaries, what is it that I would like out of this, and you can use that again for your negotiations. So make sure to research, as there is data. This, as I said, for the UK, but there are ones out there for other parts of the world as well. So this is where we'll kind of wrap things up. I hope this has been helpful. I know it's been a little bit hard with me trying to keep it vague, because, as I said, every place, every studio, every person handles interviews differently, and I'm trying to keep it in broad strokes so you can actually apply it as best you can. So thank you very much. I hope that you have all had incredible holidays with the ones that you love. All the best, and I'll catch you all. Wait, I forgot to say. Well, you can tell I'm out of practice already. First one, recording, and I'm just so far gone. Right, as I say, make sure that you do check out the links. They are in the description down below. If you want to get in contact with me, you can through the power of Twitter, which is @MaxPairs. You can email into the show, leveldesignlobby@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, please head over to patreon.com/leveldesignlobby to get not only great rewards, but to help make sure the podcast grows. And as I said, make sure to either support it through subscribing, liking, or reviewing 5 stars on the podcast as well. Take care, everyone. Catch you all next time, and see you soon.